Angelo is on his way?
Angelo's on his way. Okay.
Did someone let Dennis know? Okay, good.
He's right there in the hall.
Okay.
Greenwich Township Committee,
Oh, right.
April 9th, 2015. Members present. Torriello,
Here.
Laurie,
Here.
Adams,
Here.
Miliani on the
We will get Elaine on the phone.
Okay, we'll get her on the phone. Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Public Meeting Act by mailing a scheduled Township Committee to Express Times, North Star Ledger newspaper, post a copy on the Township Bulletin Board, and filing a copy of the Township Clerk. Motion to an executive session regarding personnel.
Personnel to conduct interviews regarding the position of Deputy Police Chief.
A second.
Torriello?
Yes.
Laurie?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. Lunch here? Food?
Okay, motion to come out of executive session.
Motion.
Hold on. Are we on?
Meeting.
Are we on the tape?
Yes. And reopen the meeting. Joe made the motion.
Second.
Second, Jim. Torriello?
Yes.
Bailey's?
Yes.
Laurie?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. Motion to adjourn.
No.
Special meeting. Motion to adjourn special meeting.
Motion to, yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are we going to
My
take
error.
action?
Not at the special meeting.
Okay.
During executive.
Adjourn the special meeting. Motion.
There's a motion on the table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
You stop the tape, you start a new one? How do you do this?
Just keep going.
I can just keep it.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
You're the clerk. Go ahead. Meeting will come to order.
Come to order. Okay, Greenwich Township Committee, April 9th, 2015, regular meeting and budget workshop, executive session,
Did you read the...
members
Oh.
present. Torriello,
Here.
Bailey's.
Yes.
Laurie.
Here.
Adams.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act by mailing the schedule of the Township Committee to the Express Times and North Star Ledger newspaper, posting a copy on the Township Bulletin Board, and filing a copy with the Township Clerk.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss potential pending litigation, deputy contract negotiations, lawn cutting contract, court shared services, old school, personnel matters, police, operational review, deputy police chief, and contract negotiations on land acquisition.
One more matter.
Pending litigation, police department, yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion, roll call?
Torriello.
Yes.
Bailey's.
Yes.
Laurie.
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We are recording.
Okay.
Motion.
Motion to come out of executive session.
Motion.
Second, discussion, roll call?
Bailey's.
Yes.
Torriello.
Yes.
Laurie.
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
Okay. Executive.
Do you want to do the roll call or open public
Regular
meeting?
township meeting. Okay.
Duly noted.
We're going to all rise for the flag salute, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open Public Meetings Act, or you did that?
I already did that in the beginning, but I'll do it now. Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act by mailing the scheduling Township Committee to the Express Times and North Star Ledger newspaper, posting a copy on the Township Bulletin Board, and filing a copy with the Township Clerk.
Thank you, and I do apologize for everyone for the late start. We did have a lot going on. I need a motion to open the meeting to public comment.
Motion.
Second, roll call. Or, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's now open to public comment. Anyone wishing to make comment can come up to the
podium that's up against the wall that we can move?
That I didn't see him, I'm looking for it.
The podium that's not
The podium that's not there?
The invisible podium.
Not that that's a subliminal message that we don't want anybody to speak. Is this this is all the same thing, right? So why is there so many copies?
Because I
Mike supplied them
Mike
too.
came in with
He came prepared.
for everybody, too.
No
Seeing,
Oh, you make copies?
Oh, I just didn't.
Oh, geez, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
it's just not going to be an early meeting, no matter how much we rush it.
All right.
Seeing no one, motion to close, public comment.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to appoint Jerry Skelton to Deputy Police Chief position at a salary of $90,000, effective immediately?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Coriello?
Yes.
Laurie?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. No other motions that I know of in executive session, is that a correct?
Yeah, lawn cutting.
Award along.
Awarding of lawn cutting.
Lawn cutting contract.
Yes.
Wanted to award lawn cutting contract to Greenscape Landscape Contractor, Inc. They came in as the low bidder for a total of $46,480. The other bidders were Total Lawn Care, who came in at $53,000, and Duke's Landscape Management, which came in at $88,172. Motion to award bid to Greenscape Landscape Contractor.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Coriello?
Yes.
Laurie?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, if I may interrupt, you might want to authorize,
just going to say, as a contract was prepared, he entered into between Greenscape and the township.
Mr. Dale's taking word down on it? Yeah.
Okay, so...
Motion to rescind the prior.
Motion to rescind the prior?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, if you want a few other amendments to the motion.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, not yet.
Oh, you said the motion, sorry.
Roll call?
You didn't take the vote.
We'll get roll call?
Yes.
Coriello?
Yes.
Laurie?
Yes.
Adams?
Adam? Yes.
In addition, to be safe and thorough, the motion should be, I would suggest the following. Motion to award the 2015 lawn mowing services contract to Greenscape Landscape Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $46,480. Conditional upon CFO confirmation of fund availability, as supplying a certificate of insurance, and Attorney Tadeo preparing a contract to be executed by Greenscape Landscape Contractors.
I'll make the motion as stated by engineer/attorney Finelli.
I will second that.
It's in the letter. That's all in the letter.
Mike, I had it written down, I just didn't read it.
Exactly what I just said.
Very
Roll
proud
call.
of himself right now.
Sorry, Joe, you made the motion?
Yes, as stated by,
Jim?
Jim seconded it.
Bailey?
Yes.
Coriello?
Yes.
Laurie?
Yes.
Yes. Two retirements I want to put in here just before the budget. Want to accept the retirement request from John Howell, effective April 30th, 2015.
That's his last day, because there's technically, May 1st. That's his last day, which is
Of April. Okay,
30th.
very good. So I want to accept his retirement. We'll miss John. He's put in about 27 years.
Yeah.
27 years of service as our DPW component. Do we need a motion for that? Okay. I also want to announce, accept with regrets, resignation of Roger Skoog. He's been the township's prosecutor. Yeah, effective March 31st. So we wanted to make those two notes.
We sent him a letter of thanks.
Yeah. I wanted to do some sort of a
plaque or
plaque or recognition. I know right
Absolutely.
now, I want to be sensitive to the situation, but we can contact him and maybe do something for the 23rd. Okay, 2015 budget.
Okay. I had circulated what is called a rough draft of the budget as we stand right now. With it was a letter indicating some of the problems we have. Some of those issues have been resolved since the letter was written. I met with the tax collector earlier this evening and received some additional information relating to sewer billings, and my concern in that area is tentatively abated, pending proof of the new numbers. However, the budget that I circulated to the committee has several items in it that are really just placeholders at this point, because we don't have solid information as to what the actual cost for 2015 will be. The easiest example is the insurance items. To my knowledge, we do not have quotes from the broker that provides you your insurance coverages. So right now, we're using last year's numbers, essentially. We need new numbers. I pulled down the pension numbers from the state website. The debt service numbers, I was able to calculate based on the outstanding debt and the fire truck lease. The deferred charges, which have to be included in the budget, I was able to pull off of the annual financial statement, but the individual departmental expenses, essentially, what was budgeted last year is budgeted again this year without any formal departmental review or, as far as I know, even departmental submissions. So those numbers need to be firmed up because we're operating at our peril if we use those numbers as they stand right now. The bottom line is, if this budget was adopted the way it is and we don't find any more revenues, which I indicated in the letter, there's still some unidentified cash deposits that might translate into higher surplus or the ability to increase the amount of revenues they anticipate, we'd be looking at about 4% tax increase, which is on a per $100,000, it works out to, what did I say it worked out to? Let me check. I don't want to give you a bad number. It works out to about $39 per $100,000 of assessed value. So
$39.
$39 per 100,000. So if a home assessed at $500,000, you'd have a $195 increase in the local purpose tax.
So the average home in Greenwich Township is, let's call it 300. It's more than what it... 107, so 120 bucks. Okay.
As this thing stands right now. Like I said,
For the average home.
There's a lot that has to be done to this thing to finalize it.
Right.
And on the revenue side, hopefully, there's some things that we can do to lower the tax consequences. I made note that we have a problem with the sewer budget. Part of the biggest problem was with the billings. We thought that the billings had declined precipitously, but in fact, they're just about constant with 2014 billings based upon the revised information the tax collector provided to me. We don't have, to my knowledge, a good current working estimate of what the Phillipsburg treatment costs are going to be for 2015. That number should be somebody should try to tie that number down, because right now we're using last year's number again. And
I do know their budget, 3.8 million roughly. I was at the meeting, went down $225,000. I don't know what that translates into rate.
Because the way that their billings work is not only on their rate but on the consumptions or the flows. So if they don't raise their rates but your flow increases by 10% of the total flow into the plant, you get allocated a larger chunk of the cost. So that's what we got to try to tie that down. We're also going to see increases there because of the litigation with Phillipsburg. And then there's that $250,000 allocation buyback. And I got the memo, so I've penciled in 250 grand, but is that from from
That was the ordinance we did this year in connection with the,
COA.
COA.
So what did we do, execute on it was a resolution.
It was an ordinance.
Was it an ordinance this year?
Yes, it was an ordinance. It was a
No,
buyback
no, it
ordinance.
was to execute on the buyback ordinance.
Okay, and are you buying back an allocation from the
Yes.
developer?
We're buying
No.
back Mike explained.
Okay. The buyback ordinance that was adopted many moons ago and has gone through a number of iterations, basically allows the township to go back to the original developers and users who have previously purchased and have been allocated flow to buy back a pro rata amount of their flow. Now, the way we can do that is because in every case, there is an excess between what was purchased by them and what is being used.
Right.
So there's this
Delta.
delta, thank you, okay. And in this case, this is actually, the town is repurchasing this 25,000 gallons of capacity, equating to $250,000 of cost for their own use in potentially serving a future COA development. It's just, okay, there's a procedure that we need to go through to procure this capacity back.
All right, well then, now fully aware of what the purpose of this is, it does have to go in the budget. So,
Kinda thought so.
we're gonna have to deal with that. The good news is that there's a significant fund balance in the sewer utility, so we will be able to balance the sewer budget using surplus
Right.
for this, what I would call a one-time expense.
Correct.
So, we're okay there. Included in the letter, and based on the notice that there were retirements, I also wanted to call the committee's attention to the fact that, in response to perceived abuses, several years ago, the Department of Community Affairs came out with specific rules for payments of terminal pay for unused sick and vacation pay. In the event that the CFO cannot certify that the payroll records indicate X number of days, and then do a calculation based on those days and the contractual pay rates to come up with a number for the committee. And in fact, the number that is being claimed is a personal record of an employee. The committee's going to have to take some separate actions to approve that if you care to. What was happening, and this goes back to an SCI investigation that goes back 15 years, is they were finding that there was rampant abuse of the sick and vacation pay payout process. And as a result, the DCA and the Division of Government Services passed rules. So before anybody gets any termination pays, we want to make sure that you stick with the rules. I made reference in the letter to the local finance notice that set the rules, and I will have a copy sent to your CFO just to make sure that when it's time to put the numbers together, we're all on the same page. Because in the event that the numbers aren't in the payroll records, then the committee's going to have to pass a separate resolution for any payout.
Looks like a rain, that's like a, formal,
Yeah, the problem I had is that I looked at what Lorraine, what she gave me last year, in particular for the Department of Public Works. As part of the 2014 budget, she gave me a accrued payable for the entire department of $1,500. So either there was a mistake made last year in the budget preparation process by the former CFO, or there might be a problem with the payroll records of accumulated leave. So one way or the other, we've got to resolve it, either determine that what was given in the budget last year was incorrect, or that there isn't a payroll record to support the claim. We'll work it out. You're also going to see tonight two ordinances for capital projects. I handed out a 3-page capital budget. Essentially, the mayor and I sat down and worked through the best guess of what the township is going to need in the way of capital projects for the next 6 years. We identified what was going to be authorized this year, and then we tried to figure out a way to allow you to pay for this over time without having to resort to another bond sale. The top half of the first page is the 6-year plan. The bottom half of the first page is what is included in the 2 ordinances that will be in front of you tonight, a total of, between the 2 ordinances, $723,500 of capital project authorization.
I'm sorry, what was that number?
The
first one.
tonight's ordinance, 722.
720, okay, yeah. I thought I heard two.
It'll be in 2 pieces. One, the 40,000 Dumont Road piece is actually a separate ordinance because there was one ordinance already in place, and this one will amend that original ordinance. Page 2 takes your 2014 budget appropriations that are capital and debt service related, uses that as a baseline, and then finances the costs of the capital projects that are included on page 1 over a 20-year period, and does so without the issuance of debt, holding to the baseline 2014 number. My next concern was whether or not you would be accumulating an unfunded debt obligation that you wouldn't be able to make acquisitions from your current cash flow and would be forced to sell short-term notes. And that's what page 3 does. It shows at the highest point, you would be approximately $2.2 million into your cash flows to finance capital project acquisitions. The good news is that...
Can you explain that again? You lost me.
Yeah, well...
I followed you up to that point. I don't mind telling you.
Okay.
It was...
All right, the key to the whole thing is that the committee authorizes projects. That gives your management people the ability to go buy things. You don't finance them as they buy them. So page 2 is a financing plan that basically says capital projects authorized in the next 6 years will be funded through 2034. What we then said is, all right, if we're buying stuff, how are we going to pay for it? Right? How are we going to have?
But you have on page 2, under the first column, bonds.
Well, that's bonds authorized, and what we're trying to do is not actually sell those bonds because selling bonds has costs,
Okay.
and bonds carry interest.
So on page 2, it's just a placeholder of what the dollar value would be if we went down that road.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Can we put cash flow in
Yes.
instead of bonds?
If
We
that
can
would
write
make
cash
it-
flow.
If that would make it easier for you to understand, well, actually, let me back up on that.
Okay.
On page 2, column number 2 there, bonds P&I.
Yeah.
That is your existing bond issue. That's not new stuff.
Okay.
Okay. If you
Where's
look,
that coming
if you look
from?
across on the 200 on the line for 2014, there was $229,700 of capital and debt related line items in that budget. It included $90,800 for payoff of existing debt, $47,500 for the fire truck lease,
Gotcha.
a $5,000 appropriation to go into the capital improvement fund, $45,000 for road overlays, and then there were 3 other items that aggregated to $41,400. It was technology,
Scanners, that kind of...
yes. There was
Okay.
So that was what we used for the baseline.
So the 229,700 is the existing debt
Is what was financed in 2014's budget.
before we even get to all of the new stuff that we're
Right.
talking about on page 1 here.
Yes. So using that as the baseline, you'll see we tried to hold that number, working down year by year. So we're working around the next column, which is the existing bonds that have to be paid off. We're working around the column after that, which is the fire truck lease, which has its last payment in 2020. We provide in the capital improvement fund column enough money to provide for the required 5% down payments on all the projects when they are going to be authorized. And the two payments down below represent fire department major capital requests in the years 2025 and 2030. So we looked out to replacement of your big ladder truck as part of this project. Road overlays, which we're hoping, right, because this isn't supposed to be potholes. Potholes is an operating item. We're hoping that as the road project gets going, Mike will pick off the roads that are in the worst shape first, and we'll be able to eliminate the 45,000, road overlay line item in the operating budget, which is basically take out a piece of road that's really deteriorated and patch it up so that it survives. We're hoping 3 years out, that'll go away. And then from the 2015 capital plan, that's the actual financing of the 2015 projects. And you'll see it puts to $632,000 instead of the $723,000. The difference is the $45,000 grant and the 5% down payment. So this is actually taking out what would have otherwise had to have been bonded. When we get done paying off that, we go to 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. The question is, will you have the cash flow to allow you to do that? That's why I did sheet 3. Sheet 3 says at any given time, the most you're going to be out of pocket would be roughly $2.2 million. And since you have a school tax payable of $4 million essentially on the books, you have a bank of $4 million that you can fund these projects out of. So, essentially, if all those projects on the first page are all that you need, and they never are, but if they are, and the costs are accurate, then it looks like we would be able to get you
What you need without bonding,
get you to a pay-as-you-go system, which is exactly what everybody's been trying to accomplish. The twist to the whole thing is going to be what isn't expected that pops up, right? Because you'll notice the only thing that's in here for the municipal building is in year 2016. There's a municipal building, 2015, you've got some projects in 2015, that's it for the next 5 years.
It's all maintenance. Yeah.
What happens if you have to replace the roof in its entirety? And that's $1 million job, let's say. That's not in here. You would have to recalculate all of these numbers. So anytime something goes, outside of what's planned here, we have to rework the plan. But I mean, this is the closest thing to a capital plan with a funding plan to go with it that you've had since I've been associated.
I've never seen one.
I was here in 2011 and there was nothing like this.
We've been so focused on cleaning up, prior gross financial mismanagement that we haven't been able to become proactive. And this is really the first time that we're able to kind of turn a corner and project.
Right.
So
now we're using $250 a year right now for the roads. Mike's report's not in yet.
Mike's report is due on the 23rd.
The first thing we're going to have to do when Mike's report comes in is we're going to have to readdress this.
Yeah.
But the point of the whole thing is that the ordinances tonight will not impact your 2015 budget, and if everything goes according to plan, it will not have an impact on the tax rate ever, if we can pull this off.
Say that again, because that was well said.
The ordinances that you're going to adopt tonight will not have an impact on the 2015 budget. Clearly, that's not going to be the case because we're not talking about financing this year. But ultimately, if things break the way this thing says they could, we would be able to take care of your capital projects going forward without having them hit your budget in the form of a tax increase, because we're trying to keep the total debt and capital costs at 2014 levels going forward.
So Bob, we may purchase some of these items this year, but we do not need to finance them this year, is what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
You have to come up with the cash to pay the vendors.
Right.
But you will not,
Have to book
you
them.
will not pay down the authorized debt until you have breaks in your schedule that allow you to do so. Right? That's the joy of having positive cash flow. That's the joy of not having rated your school tax payable to balance operating budgets. You couldn't do this if you had gone in and used school tax to balance operating budgets in past years,
Like some other municipalities.
like some other municipalities. That's a no one name.
Yeah.
We took a hard stance in 2014, and now we're reaping the benefit in 2015 with all of these capital projects that we're looking at,
And
for
going-
roads
and
and
going
fire.
forward. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this is
awesome.
this is not a one-year benefit.
awesome.
No.
This is a plan to
huge.
get you off of debt.
Tremendous.
This is gargantuan.
This
This is-
is a plan to get you off debt. And again, as the surprises crop up, we're gonna have to
We'll deal with
rework the numbers. But it seems to me that since we don't even get to halfway to the point where you're gonna use up your school tax payable in financing these projects, we've got some wiggle room. And it's just a question of how quickly we get those bonds paid off and how quickly the big numbers come in.
Okay, so I'm sure we were perfect on everything here. However, we have one additional item.
Yes.
There you go.
It didn't seem to make the list.
It was too late. Too many, what was the item?
It's the fuel management system
Yes.
that we desperately need.
Yes.
And how much was that?
Joe, if I stand corrected, the highest, the most comprehensive was 25,000?
Yeah.
25,000 is the number.
Then add that in just for budget purposes, if we save,
And we will probably save that amount
Yes.
tenfold once we start
It'll pay for
monitoring
itself in 2
fuel
years.
leaving us.
Yeah, and since we're kicking around $2.6 million here, 25,000 doesn't make or break this calculation.
Yeah, no, I know, I just want to make sure it makes the list there.
On the legal stuff, on sheet 22, it's been changed to the wrong hat con, so we pull hat con instead of hat.
I got the wrong column?
Yes.
The Kong?
Sheet 14, the municipal prosecutor salary is still in there, so I think that's going to be, I don't know how we would.
Yeah, we're gonna
do that
adjust that.
pending
You'll find out tomorrow.
pending the shared service. Likewise,
No,
the
prosecutor.
municipal court, I'm assuming that 40,100 is the judge's salary from last year.
Yes.
Yeah, so that may also be adjusted.
That is going to be
Well,
adjusted.
there's some savings.
Yeah, that's going down.
Okay, like I said, these numbers on the expense side, a lot of them are placeholders, and what's gonna need to happen is we're gonna need to go line by line at some point, and either someone in management or someone who's overseeing someone in management is gonna have to bless the number or not bless the number, because I'm afraid.
I'm afraid, right?
I wouldn't want to put a number in there as a placeholder, have it become a legal appropriation, and then find out it's insufficient.
I really wish that there were more residents here tonight that could have been here to hear this presentation, seeing such an aggressive capital expenditure plan. And we're not talking about insignificant numbers. I mean, you've got the first line item, $1.5 million just in road improvements. That is all considered here. There's going to be some significant, real, tangible changes in Greenwich that the residents are going to see. And this is all going to be financed without any tax increase based upon, it's truly impressive. I mean, it really is. And as Jim said, I mean, I knew in the last 3 years some of the decisions on financial issues which may have caused some controversy, some headlines. I am so grateful that, we made those tough decisions, because it really does place Greenwich Township in such a strong position to be able to start delivering back in a manner that doesn't put that doesn't punish the taxpayer. It's remarkable.
The thing that you should remember is that when you look at that total, for example, you look at the total for the bonds on page 2, it's showing $1,554,000 as your total payout to the end of the issue. Well, out of that $1,554,000, only $1,180,000 is principal. The rest is interest. It's approximately 25% of your cost. So by being able to avoid another bond sale, you essentially create a 25% dividend that can go towards more capital projects. And that's why the goal has always been to try to wean you off bonds if it was at all possible. And that was the direction I was given by the committee, and this is what it looks like.
By God, you followed it. Bob, this is to see this, to understand where we were last year and our conversations about approve, spend, and all of that, versus where we are today, is the opposite ends of the spectrum. And quite frankly, we are in a very good financial position, which affords us the luxury of actually green-lighting these projects. And like Joe said, each resident is actually going to be able to see all of these tangible things, not only in the roads.
There'll be less bumps.
Right.
There'll be less bumps in the road, but also, our fire, rescue, and safety, we're outfitting these guys with brand new breathing apparatuses. This is a tremendous safety thing, vehicles, and we're going out 6 years. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. So thank you for, in all our conversations with the spreadsheets and pivot tables that Joe loves.
I love pivot tables.
To see it in this format is really good, so thank you. I appreciate that effort. And I do feel we need to go through this line by line, because we're not going to have this crowd here. How much time do you allocate for going through this?
You mean tonight? I'll stay as long as you want, but I don't think...
That's a workshop. That's a
think
subcommittee. That's a finance committee.
Yeah.
I just want to put the offer out there.
No disrespect, Mr. Mayor, but you're out of your mind. Can I say that with love?
You're going to have to use the abridged
Yes.
review process this time around.
Okay.
Because the way it's supposed to work is the CFO should have circulated departmental budget requests to everybody who is responsible for spending on any line in this budget last fall.
Which we know.
I know. It is. I didn't want to go back there. It is what it is. That's someone else's problem now.
Well, I mean, hopefully a year from now we're going to be sitting here and we're going to say, oh, we've got everything all tied up nice in a bow because the process went in 2015 the way it was supposed to go. But right now, I mean, it's pretty much, what did you spend? What do you need? Somebody please tell us it's a good number.
You alluded to, without going through line by line, you gave insurance as an example, but if there are certain items that you know are placeholders that we need to get information, I'm sure between Joan and Kim, we can get those things for you so that we can start,
Actually, the mayor and I actually have what was a one-page spreadsheet that is now a three-page double-wide spreadsheet that has been developed over the last 10 days. Between our back and forths.
Pivot table out the water.
And it's got a list of all of the placeholders on it. I will abstract them and put them into a separate correspondence to everyone.
That would be extremely helpful. And right now, Joan, all of this was out of your periphery because of,
That's fine.
in getting everything else done, this is what we needed to do, and we all jumped in and took care of it. But
I'm retiring from this job next year.
That's it. I'm done. I want to hand this off as fast as I
I
can.
need all the information so I can
Okay.
get dived in here.
you may want to just so that the residents understand the project authorization, because, they're not insignificant items, so that, people who are going to be watching the tape, Jim,
Yeah. No, I think
they'll understand that that the capital improvement plan that goes out to 2020 has $1.5 million allocated for road maintenance, almost $200,000 for fire-breathing apparatus, the $40,000 to fix Dumont Road, a police department license plate reader for $30,000, which will allow the township to obtain additional revenue, almost $650,000 to the fire department for additional vehicles, technology replacement upgrades for $20,000, $165,000 for improvements to the municipal building, $56,000 for parks and playgrounds. I mean, $75,000 for an emergency generator, so that we can ensure that if there's ever another Hurricane Sandy, we can have, ensure no interruption of power, security system improvements, an additional storage building in the back of, our municipal building for records. I mean, it's an aggressive program, and it's done so in a way that keeps the taxpayer in mind, and really, it's very impressive.
And some items that you do not see, this is capital that you're looking at.
Right.
In addition to that, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have allocated in our 2015 budget enough funding for 2 additional police vehicles.
Yes.
We have, what are the other major items that we have in there?
No, that's in there.
That's in there.
That's for
Putting in
capital.
the normal budget.
Police cars, you
The
can't.
2 police cars and...
Well, with regard to the police license plate reader,
That's here.
we were having a discussion, and I wanted to bring this up with Dominic during his internal review, but there are also fixed. These are mobile license plate readers. There are also fixed readers that we can commingle with our commercial end of town,
Right.
and put these things out there, and actually pick up everything, and it sends out a warning, almost, in terms of, so we don't need our policemen actually traveling around. We can have these fixed-mounted devices sitting out there, and it throws a warning versus, hey, you got XYZ coming into town, this guy has all these warrants against him, blah, 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 okay? And I think we need to look into that kind of thing. What else, Bob? What else do we...
There's
But you're...
there's another $25,000 worth of smaller projects.
Yes.
Dealing with
All your
maintenance
stuff.
and repairs at the municipal building. We're talking about locks, we're talking about
Swing sets, bringing in more of the cushion for the swing sets, repainting the pavilion,
right,
the
roof
gazebo,
works, replacing
roof.
some doors.
Yep.
I mean, so there's another about roughly $25,000 in the operating budget to deal with municipal building stuff, parks and playground stuff, and then storage buildings and facilities. So the idea was to start maintaining your infrastructure so that we wouldn't have to end up with big replacement projects, and that was what you wanted, and that's in the budget.
Excellent. Okay, so tonight's, are we ready for tonight to do the capital ordinance? First reading?
I believe you are. The required supplemental debt statement is on file in the clerk's office.
Okay. Where is that in front of us? I saw it here. Oh,
Right here.
2015-3? 2. I got 2 and 3.
This is for Dumont Road, is 2, which you could do as well, and then it's 3.
2 and 3
Yeah.
for 594, but what
Right.
is it? So Bob, appropriating 683 and 594 bonds or notes, that's your 723?
That's all of the projects except for Dumont Road.
Okay, and then Dumont Road's the second one.
Right.
Okay.
Although she has them in opposite order. She has 2 as Dumont Road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll read it as is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we can introduce these by title only tonight?
First reading. Yeah.
First reading for these 2? Okay, any questions, guys, in terms of budget? You all good with this?
Is there money for codification? How does that work in that 5 years?
Actually, the codification of 20 grand I put it out there, but you told me, no, you already got 89. How does that work?
You have money that was previously authorized by former township committees
Right.
and fully paid for, $89,000,
That's what we have.
sitting on the current fund balance sheet in a reserve, a spending reserve,
Okay.
that can be spent on codification of the ordinance.
Okay, so, because I'm doing, I'm not doing a recodification, I have ordinances that need to go into the book. So, I'll be doing that. And then further down the road, there'll be...
Well, wait a minute, we want to talk about that, and I don't know that we should be going electronic only. There should be no more books. No, everything, we have a web page, we have the ordinance, everything should be, if it's in a book, it's meaningless. It's not, people on the street should be seeing the same thing as us. There should be one point only that should be the proverbial Bible, the source for our ordinance. It should not, in my opinion, be in the clerk's office. It should be accessible online for everybody to see. And there's no reason to have a book anymore.
So these ordinances that we read and then eventually adopt would make it onto that electronic format
Should be.
in a relatively short period
Well,
of
they
time.
want to be electronic. Mike, you have a book, John Drill has a book, Dave Loretto.
Right, all a waste. Complete waste of money and resources. Everybody goes to www.greenwich.org, and they click right there, ordinances, and they look at it. You can look at it on your phone. There's no reason to have books anymore. It's complete waste.
That's a good.
We should actually just
You
give
just
them
want
to
to ban the
recycling.
you just
Ban the
wanna
book.
Ban the book.
ban the book. It's a complete waste of money. What's that? Ban the box, ban the book.
So then what I would do is I would take the ordinances that need to be codified into our electronic that we already have.
Yes,
And get them up in.
correct.
So we have a gap, right? We stopped at some point.
Yeah,
We
we
needed
have a gap.
from there to today. We got to pull it all
And
in.
then I can bring them all the way up to the current adopted ordinance.
Yep.
Exactly.
And hope that you don't have what
And it's general
Pat
code.
Tewksbury,
Which was one?
Yes.
someone took total control of their police department, and they had to pay even every branch of government couldn't get it back. They had to pay
Yeah.
Pay a ransom.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're ready for the introduction of two ordinances. So need a motion to adopt for first reading ordinance 2015-2, bond ordinance providing for a supplemental appropriation of $40,000 for the resurfacing of Dumont Road in, by, and for the Township of Greenwich in the County of Warren, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $38,000 bonds or notes of the township for financing such supplemental appropriation.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Seeley's?
Yes.
Moriello?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. Need a motion to adopt ordinance for first reading 2015-03, bond ordinance appropriating $683,500 and authorizing $594,075 bonds or notes for the township for various improvements or purposes authorized to be undertaken by the Township of Greenwich in the County of Warren, New Jersey.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion. One discussion item. Do we add to this fuel management system?
I would.
Oh, we forgot to add the 25,000, right? So it's off by 25,000.
How do you want to?
So you got to amend it to,
Just amend it, yep. Sorry, guys.
Add 25 grand.
I forgot that we made that adjustment.
680,
683,500.
what was the bonds?
594,075. Forgot, good catch. Somebody's paying attention.
I tried.
You got a gold star tonight.
I tried, man.
Committee McClure.
Even though you guys kept me late in my meeting.
Now we have a motion and a second, so we all have to vote no.
You know, you don't always shut
You have to, it's Robert's rule.
Okay, so we gotta destroy this one.
You got to just vote, you got to roll call.
Adams, there's a...
Motion and a second, just roll
Yeah,
call.
so roll call.
Seeley's?
No.
No.
You said that.
He said
No.
no. No?
Drill,
No.
Lori,
No.
Adams?
Absolutely not.
No, amended.
Throwback.
Bob, you got me numbers?
Throwback Thursday.
Yes, the total authorized, total appropriation will now be $708,500, and the bonds and notes will be $617,825.
825. I'm going to get the real motion. All right, motion to adopt for first,
And the body will include...
Do that number again, please.
708,500
708,500
and 617.
and 617,825.
Yeah, no.
619.
619.
No, because you got a down payment that's required to be made.
That's why
There
he's
you
the
go. That's
auditor,
why he's
all
the
right?
man.
No.
Just testing you.
You should do this for a living.
Just testing.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2015, introduce ordinance for first reading 2015-03, bond ordinance appropriating $708,500 and the authorization of $617,825 bonds or notes of the township for various improvements or purposes authorized to be undertaken by the township of Greenwich in the county of Warren, New Jersey.
Make the motion.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Bailey's?
Yes.
Freeland?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. All right. We have one resolution to go. Help me. Can I steal that?
Yeah.
Okay. Need a motion to adopt Resolution 2015-41. It's a resolution to amend the 2015 payroll for the Township of Greenwich Township from 26 pays to 27 pays.
I'll make the motion.
I will second. Discussion? Roll call.
Bailey's?
Yes.
Freeland?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. I see we have a special guest.
We do.
Put in front of my office and register.
Please
Yes.
do that. Yes.
You can, absolutely. Is that his?
I don't know. He will.
Bring them up.
Yeah, they're gonna come up in a minute. He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the health insurance,
You know, there's a mute button.
you know, I don't even want a new one. We didn't have this shit in 2013. We were dealing with the Dan and Tanya hangover.
We gotta do this. So don't let me forget. What else?
They don't want to do it.
I want to do the motions.
Hmm?
That'd be a motion.
Oh, I know. We're gonna do it. I'm glad you better. I was laughing too. No, I was like.
All right, down, okay. Okay, so
No, I wanted to be, go individually.
Yes.
and they don't want to touch the extra
And you can say, fine, or I have to get your... I always have to stir the
Okay, so
pot.
then you get through with this one thing, then you'll go to
You know,
Yeah, that
And for showing up.
No. When do I start the calculation of this process? Obviously, the next paycheck is try to bang it out for the...
I don't get a paycheck anyway. It's all withheld.
God bless you.
I withhold it all. And I still owe money at the end of the year. It's when people say we don't owe taxes. I'd like to drive to Washington and give our president a nice little
Are
love
we
pat
ready to
right in the
swear?
forehead.
What, do we need a motion or anything like that?
No, we already done it. Just go down and do it.
Watch out
Me?
for cards, Joe.
Is he going to come up? Why don't you invite him up? Yeah, invite him.
Swears him in.
Yeah. He's amazing. He's amazing. Love that show. I'm always saying, what would Frank Underwood do?
Thirds of the way through the last season.
Then we'll come down and...
Is he going to come up?
He's gonna come up. He's gonna come up.
I finished the whole
He just
thing.
want to step down?
I binge watched the whole thing.
Well, yeah, again, once you start, and you got to come up now, you're not gonna, again, a little window, it's like, okay, I can watch an episode, you know?
It's a small group of people.
You gotta watch Bloodline.
I heard, that's another good one.
It's pretty good. You don't have to binge watch it. You can spread it out a little bit, but it's pretty good.
I understand. Thanks very much. Good job, Bob. Thanks very much. How's it going? We tried.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. You gotta do a nice job of not coming at 400,000 a year. Hey, you know what's happening? We gotta do it. You wanna get in there? I'll take it. Yeah. You guys all for the family. Absolutely.
No thumbs, Tom.
Okay, you ready?
Right.
Okay. I, Gerald Skeleton,
I, George Skelton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and the governments established in the United States
and the government established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
and under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of
and all the duties of the office of
Deputy Police Chief
Deputy Police Chief
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
We need a second reading of the senior discount. Does that also include a public comment?
It's a public hearing. It's a motion to open up for public
Okay.
hearing.
All right, so we need a motion to open up a public hearing for ordinance 2015-01.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Anyone of the public wishing to make comment regarding amending the 2012-20 ordinance providing senior citizens and disabled persons that satisfy the income or disability requirements for a sewer discount? You can come up. Really, what we're doing here, for everyone's knowledge, is to reduce the additional application process that we have in the township. We're just going to leverage the PTR, the property tax reimbursement applications to provide seniors and those disabled individuals with access to a 10% sewer discount. Seeing none, let's close the public hearing for ordinance 2015-01.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to adopt ordinance 2015-01, ordinance amending ordinance 2012-20 to provide that senior citizens and disabled persons that satisfy income or disability requirements of NJSA 54:4-8.40 are not required to file a separate township sewer discount application form.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Bailey?
Yes.
Royal?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. Mike, did you have?
Yes, I actually have two very quick things. One is I spoke with the county, with Bart Johnson, the assistant county engineer, a few days ago, and he asked me to bring this up to you. And this is what we've back and forth for a long time now, the signage improvements to help the Lindy folks with the bad turning movements. Okay.
I've heard something.
It's all set up. He was trying to get the three primary big box parties, ShopRite, Home Depot, and Lowe's, each to chip in the money for the sign. ShopRite and Lowe's have sent the checks, and they have the check. And believe it or not, we're talking about $100 per store. That's it.
$100.
$100. He can't get the money out of Home Depot, and therefore they don't wanna, the county's not gonna chip in either. He didn't put it that way, but that's the case. So, he said, would the township like to pay for Home Depot's portion of the sign? He's at $100, so we can get
Tell them
the
we'll
sign.
form a subcommittee, we'll research it,
We're gonna need to
we'll
analyze
develop
this.
a white paper, and then we'll have a committee report out.
I know it sounds foolish, but I can't,
And I'm so shocked because this has been handled so, like, professionally and smooth sailing since 2011. It's been
I would
remarkable.
love to have just said, Mark, order the signs, but obviously I can't do that.
And people want to know
I
why.
know.
Their taxes are high and nothing gets done.
And if something to get done, it takes forever.
I honestly, I almost feel like just reaching in my pocket. I can give it my own
We already
debit card.
voted on this to spend the money, right?
So, I'll make a motion to spend $100 on the signage that
Actually,
will relieve a whole lot of issues down on the Greenwich Street.
And I second that motion only because I would actually like to see the signs before I die. So,
No, you'll see the signs with this motion, and I'm gonna be careful how I say this. With this motion, and the transmission of the check to the county,
That's why
you will see,
Joan is here.
you will see those signs this year.
really?
Yes.
So all I have to do is live to 2016,
Yeah, and
and
you're
I'll
good to
see the
go.
sign.
Yeah, no, I was almost gonna say, like, I'll leave it this year.
I can feel the commuter's relief.
That's a big statement.
Motion on the
Oh,
table,
I'm-
discussion,
it's when I'm
roll call.
told confidently.
Bailey?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, next month will be a year since you had the discussion.
I didn't say yes. Did you get my yes vote?
Wow.
We talked about the capital improvements, and I'm assuming that what is not on your chart and shouldn't be, because it would come out of sewer, we are focused on bringing sewers to downtown Stewartsville, and that is not an insignificant amount. I'm assuming that's going to be funded from the sewer budget and not from our, and there's no need to calculate this in there?
That's absolutely correct, and we already have several $100,000 set aside in the sewer capital fund for such a project. I can
Okay.
tell you exactly how much.
And we'll Bob checks on that.
This is yours.
We have a sewer subcommittee meeting on Monday.
Yes, we do.
And we hope to be able to
think
give
that's
a
fine, too.
ballpark estimate at that point. And that's moving forward rather nicely at this, at very
Yeah.
early stage.
Yeah, but I know, but I just, as long as we get it done, because, there are homes there that are just uninhabitable and
Well-
not going to be until we get the sewers there, so.
Not only is it the sewers for the homes, but this municipal building, in this capital plan, we pulled out $75,000 increase for the septic system.
Yeah.
So we're actually benefiting from this, okay? So
Wait, there's 75,000 in?
we
Okay.
originally allocated $75,000 for septic upgrades
Okay.
here. We pulled that out because we
of the-
knew,
Okay, good.
and the time to first flush is key.
465,000 currently sitting in sewer capital waiting for a project.
Okay, well, that's a project that's coming.
Yeah.
When we're doing the sewers down the street, is there any way that, because a lot of people, because it's getting spread around,
That we're doing it?
that we're doing this, they're wanting to know if the road is already dug up, with doing the lines, is there any way we can get Elizabethtown Gas to run, if the line stops at the squad building, if Elizabethtown Gas could, get
Run
it
a
on
gas
the-
line.
Well,
They'll-
you can't,
Extend
gas
the
and
gas
sewer
line.
aren't going
Yeah.
to share the same trench. That's
No.
one problem.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
But to the point that the road's being dug up.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that...
We can't coordinate.
Yeah, that couldn't happen. That's...
But the residents are going to have to pay the hookup from the
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
not insignificant. I mean, it could be a
Well,
$5,000 or
no,
$6,000 bill,
All the
right?
residents have is the
Yeah,
oil,
let's
which they
get the
have
number.
really in
Yeah.
the school.
No, it's going to be about $5,000 or
It's
$6,000.
It's the oil. And
We'll figure it out.
They want the gas.
Yeah.
A lot of them have said, they want to hook into the gas.
I would too. I would want it too.
Cheaper.
All right, you want to do anything with, or Or not, it's early.
No, it's early,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
point is, at some point,
Okay.
you'll want to
Yeah.
coordinate that
Yeah, I
effort.
mean, really, by the time we got to worry about that, I mean, it's not, that's not 2050. Okay, second thing quickly, and I'm relaying this on behalf of the Township Land Use Board from last night's meeting. Chairman Bolger brought up at the end of the meeting the issue of, kind of follow up on Joe's point a minute ago about the codification, about the electronic submission requirements that are pending, and what's the Township Committee doing about the ordinance?
We
adoption?
discussed this at the last meeting.
I know we did, and I explained that to him.
Yeah.
He wants some feedback from, I told him that there's a question about the IT technology we have and then how compatible it is and so on and so forth. So I'm actually now, I guess, sitting here in my capacity as the Land Use Board engineer, just relaying a question from the Land Use Board to the committee that they're anxious for the township to kind of move this ordinance forward. It has to go back to them anyway. We know that there's some research that has to be done, but just as a friendly reminder.
Yeah, and I think, again, because I phoned in last night, and I really...
This was the very end of the meeting.
Right, and I think it's as simple as, I think we were pretty clear with they need to come up with a draft ordinance, so we know what it is that they're asking for, and then we could, and we could, and we could talk about it, but, just, in other words, Tom's saying, what is our thoughts on it? We're not the Land Use Board. We don't know what the difference between a planning board application or a, typical board of adjustment. There's all the forms. Drill has all of that already. So I think that any first draft of an ordinance of what they're looking for, in my humble opinion, should be done by Drill on behalf of the Land Use Board, come to the Township Committee saying this is how we would like the applications to be submitted. Are you, as the governing body, okay with it? And then we're having a discussion with something in front of us, as opposed to a theory. Because conceptually, we're not opposed to it. We just don't know what.
We don't know what it is.
Correct. And we need
requirements.
We just need for them to develop the
And one additional little side note. Last month, we talked about this here. And one of the things I was tasked with was to basically call Jewel, because Jewel does our IT work as well.
Yeah.
And just ask them, like, okay, how do we
Is there an
if we
issue?
want to implement this, if Greenwich wants to implement this, are we all set pretty much, or do we need to spend $50,000 in hardware and software to facilitate this type of the upgrade? Well, believe it or not, the next day, Jewel was in our office because we were going through a software upgrade ourselves. So, not Jeff, this guy Darren, I guess. Darren was there. So I asked him, it was fresh in my mind, and he's like, you're being Greenwich now. You guys are in good shape. You just did this big upgrade. You don't have, you're in good shape.
We're good to
So
go.
that gave me a little comfort zone, something just FYI.
Yeah.
Is there
So
other
it-
towns like that have this requirement, like any local towns around?
Well, there's some in Pennsylvania that do. There's a lot of towns that have a requirement that you have to submit it at the end, but not the initial submission. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We aren't.
No.
I mean, we're a little progressive for this area, I would say. Warren County doesn't have a lot of electronic submission requirements at the planning or land use board level. I'll say that.
We have it at the codification level.
We've done that already. So, I'm sorry. I didn't
We
mean to
banned the
take
book.
much
What's
time here.
the quote? We banned the book.
We ban the book.
We banned the
Yeah,
book.
well, forms online is one thing, but this is like an applicant submitting. It's got to be paper submitted. But like everything comes in via disk or via PDF or whatever.
Jim, I think it's that kind of.
We'll figure that out. Okay.
Okay, so when do I get my $100 check?
I'll hand you cash tonight if you want.
$100.
Motion to open the meeting to public comment.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Final public comment of the night. Come on up. Yeah, you got to be recorded. I'm sorry.
Mike, I just sent Bulger an email, so it's all taken care of.
Okay, 557 North Main Street, Switzerland, New Jersey. Just want to thank you guys for meeting with Mike Martin. I think that you're going to, well, Joe expressed what you're going to feel about it. So, because we need to, start putting, I guess, a stake in the ground and go from there. But I just wanted to offer my thanks. On behalf of the Historical Society, Canstone, and some of the older residents.
Ann has an interest in the old school? I hadn't heard that. That's the first I'm hearing of this.
I know, right? So quiet about it. I mean, I just wanted to express that, because it's been a long-going process. A lot of you guys, before you were even on the committee, we've been talking about this for 20 years, maybe?
23 that I've, well, since the school got handed over. And I needed to-
Yeah, I've been here 25, so I think the original one was back when...
This started, like, I want to say this started like in 1997, 98.
Yeah.
When I moved in. 20 years ago.
Yeah, 97, 98.
What was the last class that walked the halls of that school?
I'm going to say...
Kim's.
92?
Oh, it was that late? It was in the 90s?
We moved here in 92, and it was,
I remember...
I think it closed like in 93, 4.
that was the referendum to increase the infrastructure at the Stewartsville at the current Stewartsville Middle School.
You were in
I
town.
remember, that's when we came in.
Yeah, I came in 97.
94 when it got, when it was.
I remember when they
92,
shut it down and they
yeah.
moved it over there.
And they sold it to us for $1 and we could have just moved.
Did we ever get that dollar? Did we ever?
Move right in.
We could have.
He goes, did we ever get the dollar?
Yeah.
I don't think, I've heard rumors we never got the dollar.
We don't get the $1, we never paid the $1.
Oh, we never paid, all right, that's different. Keep that on a down low.
How much
Thank you,
interest
Bob.
on that?
I appreciate
Interest on the
your
dollar?
comments. It's not that often we get positive comments from the podium.
Let's make it a positive thing.
That's right.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Joe Maxey, 602 South Main Street. With the projects going on, just a briefing, March 20th, we did the hazard mitigation workshop up at the county, and up there is some grant opportunities that could possibly help fund the sewer or even the gas line situation.
Glad you brought that up.
Put together, just dawned on me when you spoke about it. Contact, and also along with that for hazard mitigation things, grazing of unwanted properties that are in flood zones. The property down on 519, possibly since the house on Washington Street shifted off of the foundation, could be a wind hazard that could blow in and ruin properties. Maybe we could sell it that way too. We know what house we talked about on Washington Street. But that application time is coming up here in May, and I believe Tom was there, and Kim, and the chief of police was with me that day, and we might have his contact information to move forward with some of that grants, and it may take care of that. Very minimal on our part. Just wanted to bring that forefront.
You are the grant finder.
To keep that in mind.
The grant finder for sure.
That's right.
So, that's it.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
There was something I wanted to say.
Any other comments? Motion to close, public comment.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Now you can say.
Now, there's something that I was,
While you're thinking,
please.
Motion to adjourn.
I was at the economic meeting this morning, and the Harmony. This is very preliminary, but they're looking at a racetrack in Harmony.
They had a racetrack. That goes back to the 1940s
This is going to be
or
something.
50s.
You ever heard of
Dogs,
Lime
cars.
Rock
Yes,
up in Connecticut?
I was up there,
It's
yes.
going to be something like that.
No way.
What's it racing?
They got some big money looking at this thing.
Really?
Car,
Yeah.
dogs, horses?
What kind of, like, stock horse?
It's got to be
They
electric
had a
cars.
stock car racetrack there in Harmony forever.
I've heard the NASCAR was talking about, or Formula One was talking about electric cars going green.
Well, we
Maybe
may-
there's something like that coming down the
If they
pipe.
do that, we may have some real speeding problems coming.
I'd love to see a lime rock in our backyard. That would be beautiful. That'd be beautiful.
Anyway, it's preliminary, but,
Okay, good.
There was something, it was adjourned.
Any other?
Nah, I
You're
can't
done.
think of
All
it.
right.
I can't think of it. There was something,
Motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
There was something with Joe.
Joe Mexi?
All right, hold on.
Oh, with all the projects.
I had the PA.
You even got together with him.
No, I spoke to him about that.